Okay.
Coach, you're able to cut it to 6 by the end of that third quarter.
Yeah.
Where would you say things went a little bit wrong in that quarter?
Well, there was a lot of things that happened. I thought our execution defensively was really good in the third, and we were able to defensive rebound, which got us out and got us some good looks. And I thought Cole Anthony, at that point in the game, really took the game over and scored, a bundle. It's one of the little points that was a barrage, and I thought that had an impact on us psychologically too. We had worked so hard to kind of get back to that point. And then the game just got a lot harder once that lead got built up again, a little fatigued, and, a moment where we could really put some game pressure on them, and they extended the lead back. So, I thought we were ready to play. One of the biggest issues is I didn't think we shot open shots. For us to win, we've got to shoot more than 19 threes, and we had guys passing them up. The fouls early, they lived at the line early. I know the free throws kind of ended up, they always even out, but early in the game, them having an opportunity to shoot free throws affected us offensively as well, as we talked about before. But again, we were focused. There was times when you saw the execution. Thought we did a good job on Paulo and Bones. They had some other players that really stepped up and made plays. And, obviously the game got away at the end. But the biggest thing right now is you can take things from this game. We will. But we've got another game 7. This isn't a game 1 and a game 2. You've got to transition to the next game. 2 very different teams that will play, regardless of who it is. So preparation is going to be a little bit different. And I think our focus can be. I think we can be more aggressive offensively. We can shoot the ball, just let it rip.
I mean, one guy who maybe would be one of those guys you would want to take more of those threes is Mouhamed Gueye, but he had a great defensive game tonight, especially with his matchup against Powell. What did you like about what he was able to do and his hustle and intensity?
Yeah, and we talked about that early, that, he needed to stay in front and contest and not foul. And I thought the other guys on our team did a great job of shifting, which helped him stay locked in. And I thought the same was true with Dyson on Wagner. So Mo had a few open looks. That's a little different from him. Obviously, we want him to take them as well. And they do a good job of limiting that. There's no question about it. But I think we have to hunt those shots a little bit. We passing them up. We're not going to be able to. We're not going to be as efficient at the rim. And I think you saw that too.
Coach, I just wanted to ask you, did you see what happened with Trae picking up that first and second technical at all, or did they explain to you what happened?
We didn't have a chance to. It happened fast as far as what happened. You're always concerned when there's a hard foul that puts a player in some sort of compromising position that could result in an injury. That was my understanding, that he hit the transom, but I saw that. I didn't see what transpired afterwards. I know Trae's aware of that as far as, the importance of him keeping his cool. He addressed that already with our team. He's quick to own that. But the game was out of hand at that point anyway. But again, this is playoff basketball. There's going to be adversity, and we have to continue to handle it, in a way that can power through some of that, accept it, respond to it. And I think that's true for the whole game, not just, in terms of a call here and there. There was fights on the defensive glass, and I thought early on we were losing that. In the third quarter, we were able to win some of those, and I thought that really fueled our offense. And we knew that was the case. There was just certain things that you know you need to do, and you can say it, but it's harder to go out and do it. And we've just got to be ready to have, even to dig in even more in the next game. But like I said, our guys competed. There were some things that we can do better. But I thought, Orlando played well. They guarded, and when you have a player that goes in, and Cole Anthony and Anthony Black were, pretty good plus-minus line. Those guys did a heck of a job when they came in the game, and that impacted us.
Coach,
Yep, I have the same problem.
Coach, in the first quarter, Trae came away with 0 points, and then, like you talked about a car going from 0 to 60 in so many seconds, Trae went from 0 to 22 in 24 minutes. What does that say about his ability to turn it around, and what was it the Magic were coming out with early to kind of slow his performance?
Yeah, I think sometimes people evaluate Trae's performance based on statistics. And that's, to me, not the best way to kind of see. It's the easiest thing to see, right? And you're right, but I thought early in the game, depending on how they were playing him in pick and roll or defensively, whether they're sending him to his weak hand, those are the times when other guys got to really be ready to shoot. And when he is in those situations, I didn't think we spaced as well as we can to create open shots and open passing lanes. And like any game, you begin to figure stuff out as the game goes on, and he responded, and he was able to get in the lane. And rather than looking to kick out, he was shooting his floater. And we always want to be aggressive from three. I think that's really important for him. And he's another one. I want us to shoot. I want us to shoot at least 40, and we didn't come close to that tonight. And I think that's a barometer for us as far as it's not just the threes. In a vacuum, it's usually indicative of how we're playing.
Coach, going forward in the play-in, just talk a little bit about moving forward and taking what you can take from this. And
Yeah.
There's a lot of basketball left, and you guys control your destiny.
Yeah, I tried to address that right out of the gate. I think it's a great point. I think for some of our younger guys, this was a new experience. You could feel that at the outset of the game, whether it was the physicality or some of the game pressure. And so I think that's a learning experience that hopefully we take with us the next game. Dealing with adversity on the road, that's another situation, regardless of home or away. A lot of the things that go into competition that maybe aren't as focused on a specific coverage or a game plan or tactical. There's a level that we need to continue to find, and we have to find that collectively. I thought one of the things that was good tonight is some of our veteran guys that had been in those situations. I thought were able to give some of the other guys a lift. It didn't always translate to baskets or success, but you could feel a cohesion from our team, and without that, you're not going to win. And I'm confident we'll carry that into the next game and do some things better that we need to do to win. Okay? Mm-hmm. Yeah, they made some more shots. They made more shots than we did that fourth quarter. We fought hard and got back in the third and made it a game, which I'm proud of my team and proud of the way we fought. But sometimes when you get down that much, and that it's hard to come back, and because you take so much energy just to get back into the game to get the lead and extend it. So we never really got to that point, but we definitely made it a game. And I'm proud of the way we fought in that third quarter. In the fourth, they just made some more shots. Or you call it fever head? Yeah, yeah. No, it was. I think there was a lot of plays throughout the game. Obviously, they're a physical team, and I've had two teammates hurt this year in one game against them. I'm not gonna call them dirty players or anything like that. I think they have a lot of
guys want to try to be more physical and to the point where it's not even necessarily basketball at that point. So I think that's where the frustration got. And sometimes I take my frustration out on the rest, not just for me, it's for my teammates. Like I see Dyson Daniels going. I mean, you may not be a household name yet, but he deserves the same amount of respect as some of these other guys. And if you see a foul, you should call the foul. And that's pretty much all it was for me. I mean, for me, it's just that. None more, none less. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's one game. I'm not letting it dwindle. I'm not letting people think about what I'm feeling and things like that. Obviously, I told them I was sticking up for the squad, and I'm not gonna let the rest frustrate me like that in our next game. I know we got a winner go home next, so I'm gonna be ready. And I told the team I'm gonna be ready for them. We got to go home and take care of business.
Hey, Trae. Obviously, not the outcome you wanted, but just what can you take from this game? Because you guys don't have much time to dwell on this one. What can you take from this, positive or negative, and go to the next game?
Yeah, I mean, you take away the positive in that third quarter, the way we fought, the way we got into the game, the way we got back into it. I think the aggressiveness that we had and the force we had on the offensive end, like when we caught the ball, we knew what we wanted to do and was very, very decisive on what we wanted to do. So I think that's something that we can take going into the next game and try to do it for 4 quarters.
Trae, the elimination game where you have to win or go home, just talk a little bit about giving that to the Hawks, kind of like Oklahoma in college ball where you have to win. Just talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, obviously everybody knows that we've been a part of this quite a bit. I think this is going to be now our 6th game and the next one. So I've been a part of these, and I know how now it's win or go home. Obviously tonight we wanted to win and take care of business, but we didn't. But at the same time, we put ourselves in the position to have 2 games to get into the playoffs. I think us being in the AC, I mean, if this was the old school, we would already be in the playoffs. So I'm glad that they give us an opportunity to go home and get another chance to go into the playoffs. So that's pretty much it. We got another chance, and we put ourselves in this position. And so now we got to take advantage of it.
Obviously, this is a game of ebb and flows. You came out, what I said to Coach Quinn earlier was you went from 0 to 22 points in 24 minutes. What was it you saw in the Magic defense to kind of tear that open, and are there lessons you could take from that to go into Friday?
Yeah, I mean, they didn't blitz me as much as I thought they would early on in the game. Later in the game, they kind of did it a little bit scatteredly, but they didn't blitz me as much. And early in the game, obviously, after watching a lot of film, I mean, I figured that they would blitz me more. So it took me kind of a few possessions, a few minutes to kind of figure out how they were guarding me and things like that. So once I kind of figured that out, I even missed a few floaters in the first quarter that I thought were good shots and good looks. They just didn't go in, and but that's a time for me to be aggressive when the big is in the drop. And so if they were double teaming, I was ready for that. But they kind of switched it up to begin the game, and so it kind of took me a minute to figure out what kind of defense they were in.
Trae, just wondering, what did you see out of Mo? Obviously, him defending Paolo there, and just what did you see out of him defensively in the game?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the game plan obviously was just trying to make it as difficult as possible for their 2 head of the snakes and kind of force other guys to beat us. And I mean, you gotta give them credit. They did. They I mean, came in, was making some shots, and other guys, Wendell, had a hell of a game tonight on the boards and things like that. So you got to give him credit, things like that. So I mean, their role players did what they needed to do. We didn't want their main guys to beat us. So in that case, we did a good job of that. But the role players had a good night, and that's part of the reason why it's good that you get a home court game. So usually role players play better at home, and that's what they did tonight. So that's how they won. But we got another one on Friday.
Hey, Mo.
How we doing?
I know it's not the outcome that you guys wanted, but you put together a pretty strong defensive game tonight, especially going up against Paolo. I mean, what do you think worked really well for you to be able to hold him to, the stat line that he had?
I think the whole team did a good job. I was not just guarding him myself. The team was helping. We was communicating. I think the game plan for against him was pretty good because we did a good job on him. I don't think that was just me. I think that was a team effort, but I think we did a good job on him. Not enough though, obviously.
You guys got it pretty close there. 3-point game, 6-point game at the end of the third. Just what, I guess, what did Orlando do to kind of adjust to that and pull away from you guys?
I think they went on the run. I think the size they got kind of was tough for us a little bit, but I think they just did a good job. Orlando did a good job. They did a great team defensively on the half court. I think they just was better tonight and they won.
And then for you, Mo, you were at 1.5 for 5 from the floor. A lot of them were dunks. I'm curious, what was feeling right for you to get into those positions so you can kind of get some of those buckets?
Just trying to run, honestly. We know that we're really good at running when we run. We're pretty good, so just trying to stretch the floor, trying to run up and down. T.Y. going to see me. We got great point guard to pass the ball, so just run the floor.
In the playoffs, in the play-in, you guys want to control your own destiny. You want to win. But just talk a little bit about going forward and the opportunity you have in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we wanted to win today, but we got another final on Friday, so we're going to flush this one and focus on that and trying to get a win against Chicago or Miami. Thank y'all so much.